Всем привет! Сегодня мы наконец-то начнем. Кому как я всегда совпаданием это делаю. Пройти задание легенд с Елань. А после Елань буду проходить катуху. И после вот этих двух заданий легенд я начну проходить потом ивент. И поскольку ивент еще не полностью открыт, если не ошибаюсь, где-то 2-3 дня. Короче, где-то через 3 дня буду его записывать. Так что начнем сначала с этих заданий легенд. И начну я, наверное, с Елани. Снижать до Елани сейчас будет у нас. Где-то вот тут я, начало задания, я немножко ее прохреначил. Где-то здесь наступил, типа, и началось задание как раз. Так что приступим к Елани. Ну и черный экран, отлично, как всегда.
Oh? What a lovely surprise. Welcome, Oishi. I heard that you've been traveling all over the place recently. I would very much like to hear your adventure stories. Hoishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry. I'm quite all right. It's just the year. As I grow older, I'm starting to find that with many things, though the mind is willing, I am still very much in good standing as the Tianshu today. Nevertheless...
How difficult is it to transfer the Tianshu position?
Oh, well, you see, the Tianshu is a rather unique position. Historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We stay behind. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu candidates free from influence by outside. For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends their candidate of choice.
So in other words, you pick someone, and then Lady Kuching, Lady Ningguang...
Correct. Unfortunately, due to my health. Not to despair, however, because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my behalf as a...
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than this to forget all about.
It's Yelan!
Jackpot. Uncle Tien here asked me to assess 3. Fancy joining me? You'll be among the first to get to know the next Tianshu.
What do you think? Paimon thinks so too. It can't be a bad thing to be on...
All right then. Though, I gotta say, Uncle Tien, you say you're into behind-the-scenes planning? My work's of the...
Huh? Yelan, you want to be the...
I'm not opposed to the idea, but I suspect Ning. So, how about this? If you...
Deal. Well, you guys take your time. Everything's all set. Meet me on the first floor when you're ready. Oh, and no need to pay for your tea. As the new owner of this fine establishment, this runs on the house. You're all set?
Ну,
Uncle Tien seems really worn down.
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tien is past his prime. He's not cut out for this anymore. So he's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are Qinwei, Mingbo, and Zhi. Qinwei is a wealthy entrepreneur. Mingbo works at the Liyue Ministry of Civil Affairs, and Zhi is focused on study and travel. Try to keep all that in mind. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you forget, since we'll be assessed.
Qianwei, Mingbo, Zhi. Paimon...
Let's leave that until we get to you. All right. Heads in the game, people. The stakes don't get much higher than a change in the Qixing.
Got it. We'll keep our eyes wide open.
куда нам? Ну, можно так. Так.
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I don't even get a chair. I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made to stand while I'm...
Oh, I mean,
That's called being complacent. If you're happy to just accept...
Oh, come on. That's just...
All right, you two. Let's not get into a big argument. Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. We've all been standing around for a while. Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait.
Fine. They're not the best quality chairs, to be sure. But under the circumstances, it would be better than nothing.
Богатый, да?
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived. Mm-hmm. We'll meet them formally soon. Before that, let me run you through the... I've split it into 2 stages. Current affairs and planning, and face-to-face In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. In the second, writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Wow. One of them is really thick.
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianshu will be expected to failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their... There's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of what each I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me know when you're done.
Давай. Так. Этот богатый, да? Ну, посмотрим. Или это торговец, или чё? А, очень информативно. Задание.
Finished, huh?
Everyone took it very serious.
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked as the new and keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. Nobody wants to have any regrets. That's for me to know and you to find out. We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you two are the assessment officers, are you? I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in person. I certainly hadn't. I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp. It was written with an
Mind your tone, mister.
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was simply stating a fact. Cloud Retainer? You know this Adeptus? Oh, yes, with your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps you will be able to understand the concepts I have put forward.
Ты слишком нежный. Нет, конечно.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Please introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I work in the Ministry of Civil Affairs.
Ну вот это нормально. Либо вон тот, который... Не именно вот самый первый, а третий был. Либо между ними, по-моему, в принципе, ну...
I've worked there for, 9 years. 5 months and 3 days. In that time, I've handled 2,300 and I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in my current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for auditing the accounts. To be more precise, there are 3 parts to the...
Is it just Paimon, or is he not very good at public speaking?
Ну, видно.
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction there and move on to some questions.
Oh, okay.
Hello. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little... What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away and I'll answer your questions to...
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be sure that you have the ability to put your plan into act?
Very fair question. I completely understand what... But I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more expertise than myself, and my manifesto is the conclusion of these efforts. Of course, 2 different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach 2 very contradictory conclusions depending on which one...
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed...
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the Yuehai Pavilion evaluate any proposals before implementing. If it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor results...
Nice answer. Oh,
He seems like a great guy. Everything he said was thoughtful and...
here's my take on what we just learned. As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes many excellent ideas in his manifesto, but he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. Mingguo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell he's meticulous in his work, very detail-oriented. But he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingguo is not very articulate and comes across as very timid and
Perfect summary! Paimon couldn't agree more!
Last but not least, Yi. His manifesto is full of pertinent details. His methodology is sound. The depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone...
Great!
We'll see.
И тогда
Let's go back and
третий
report to
выбираем,
Uncle
чё?
Tien.
Третью жопу. Так, команда еще. Выбор какой. Так.
I see.
All right. Then let me ask this. The ideas in Yi's manifesto are very similar to your...
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates. Those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past.
Понятно.
It's only... But Qianwei went on to focus on his business, and Mingguo has always been occupied with his work at the Ministry of Civil
Понятно.
Affairs.
Whoa! So how did you get to know them all?
Qianwei was referred to me by an old friend. Mingguo came to my attention in the course of my work. As for Jerry, we first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know each other, we started... Jerry came from a poor family, and his parents died when he was very young. He reminded me of a younger version of myself, so I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing and noticed how quiet. And now, all of a sudden, he's grown into a mature... The young are growing up, and I am growing old. How time flies.
I don't know, Uncle Tien. You still seem in pretty good shape to me. You might have another few years of...
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. having less energy than I used.
Sounds like you sure love fishing.
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh,
Fresh fish soup.
doesn't it? Also, sometime when we've been fishing recently, Jerry always brings some extra ingredient. That flavor makes for a fond memory. But at my age,
Oh, can Paimon come next time too? Paimon really wants to try.
Let's get back to the matter at hand. Uncle.
I appointed you as the assessor. Had you not asked me why Jerry's ideas were so similar to mine, this decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please just remember, you must be.
Understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tian.
Ну, это логично, либо второй, либо третий.
So, it's gonna be Jiri, right? His manifesto was written well, and...
Easy. Let's not rush. There's no.
Huh? So...
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me give you a word of advice. The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden beneath many layers of For example, when you.
Yes? Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they? Where...
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and as my trusted assistants. They are always standing guard nearby. They also. Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right?
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and waves.
Shanghua. Visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, go to the Ministry of Civ.
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Jiri?
Zhi. Well, obviously as the most promising candidate. Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people passing through there.
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to Bulai, the owner of Wanyu Boutique? He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe...
That's actually not a...
What's Bulai doing here today?
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this price.
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, this is the single best batch of sun. I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned sweet.
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't. If you won't take him, I'll just have to partner with them instead.
Okay, well, when you put it that way... Oh, what are you doing here? And to be clear, these Sunsettias are mine. I got to them first. Don't get any ideas.
Actually, we want to ask you about a guy called Jiri. Have you heard of him before?
Jerry? Yes, he's quite well known. I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. His parents died. One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time. But Jerry never retaliated. And when his neighbor went bankrupt, he even helped. He returned cruelty with kindness. Injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and character, and... how did...
Oh, he sounds like a decent man. We can finally breathe...
Why are you asking about him anyway? You aren't a... Well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the... That's Jerry right over...
Where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Lin Long. Come on, let's try not to let him see you. We want this information to be as truthful as possible.
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, Don't try and cut me out of this. Hey!
Что осталось, да? Ничего, я не понял.
I understand. Let's walk and talk.
Стелс.
So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine, who likes to have a drink now and then, he fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me, then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Thank you very much, Miss Linlong.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Juri. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see. I'll be sure to pick out a good set for you. You can count on me. Juri seems to get along really well with everyone. Are you satisfied now, Yelan? Seems like everyone thinks...
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go check out the wharf where...
Do we have... Wait. You're not just trying to dig up some dirt on Juri because you...
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But hey, if I do, you'll be able to try all the finest food for free.
We will? Well, come on!
Куда? Не понял.
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers.
Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the, Liuwei Angler. We've heard about this young man called Juri, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman. Just wondering if you...
Whoa! Yelan made up a whole fake identity.
Ah, yes, Juri. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place, and they tell me everywhere they... Apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. Had to work several jobs alongside his studies to make it... How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if there's anything to that logic, he's sure to be fun...
Yeah, we think so too.
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
Oh? Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he catches to me on occasion. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about. If you're looking to recruit some new members, though...
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to.
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking her.
Куда?
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000. You better hurry when they're gone.
Hello, we're from the Society for Fish Price Research.
Wow, she switched up.
Society for Fish Price Research? I haven't done anything.
Please, don't worry. We're just here to conduct. We've heard about a certain Jur-E who's been selling fresh fish at low price.
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I could tell. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount of debt. No one wanted anything to do with him. He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had a bandage and he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But still to this day, he doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a few mora. So, it's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business.
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that I think he has pretty low self-esteem. But hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved, and nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him, that's all.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. Okay.
Hey, it's you guys! Wait, what's the phrase? Oh yeah, what brings you to me?
И этот герой замечал
The
кидал.
truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial artist, Master Du.
Really? People said.
But of course. We also heard that Master Dugu is a kind and virtuous swordsman who never.
Great! So what do you wish to know? Nothing happens on.
Now she's lying to a kid.
So, Master Dugu, have you heard?
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about? I've heard many tales of Juri. Probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about sword-fighting heroes.
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then let me ask.
Oh yeah, I know that. It was about two. Before that, people always used to talk about Juri in a kind of nasty tone of voice. Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Just as I thought.
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, just as I thought, Master Dugu.
I'm not that great. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people at.
Oh, definitely.
Great. So next time I see them, I'll say hi. And
certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well.
Until we meet again.
Any of that sound strange to you?
Strange? What was strange about it? Juri seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle Gao spoke highly of him.
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost seems too good.
Sudden? Too good to...
So he returns cruelty with kindness and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. But Uncle Soon said even his friends who travel far and wide hear about him wherever they go. Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Jur-E's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, he wasn't. Plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Jur-E has only been happening within the last 2 or 3 months. His childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor. None of these are recent events.
When you put it like that, it is...
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Jur-E was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying, traveling, or paying off debts. Right, and that changes everything. It can mean a powerful faction is trying to gain That's the worst case scenario. But all too often, the most pessimistic
Someone's trying to gain influence over the... Even if we asked Jiri about it, surely there's no way he'd...
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry, I've got a plan. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after taking office, whoever is secretly helping Jir-E must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. Come on, let's get back to Yenshang. Jir-E's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't add up will be like trying to... I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one, I'll take the other. When we're... Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So we have to...
Yikes! We better hurry!
Whatever else Uncle Tien might think of Jir-E, the fact remains that he's one of his Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look carefully and...
Even though Yelan took half, this is still a lot. Well, we gotta start somewhere. Oh, this reading is giving Paimon a headache.
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers, Shanghua. If you're back, that means you finished
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us your
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Qianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Qianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked around and found where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but Qianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't. But once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is pretty infuriating.
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing...
to validate his theories? No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights. It's all the result.
I'm back! Huh? Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills and am.
You... Ugh, whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I... Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Mingbua.
Well, we're all.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Mingbua struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting with strangers. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the Ministry of Civil Affairs was very positive.
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs
I don't believe so. Mingbua is someone who has slowly but surely earned the reputation. According to Miss Yu, the Ministry often gets Mingbua to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the Ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Mingbua gave them the scolding of a lifetime.
Whoa, that's...
Like I said before, things are not always.
Ah! So that's what you meant by that.
Thank you both. You're free to go now. So, have you finished reading the manifest?
We still have...
I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual entries. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Cheongshu Pool redevelopment plan. Cheongshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there. So at some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure buried a long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team.
So, did they find any treasure?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the solid rock, the technology wasn't mature enough at that time. So the excavation project was shut down, and the Jur-E's manifesto focuses on solving problems. And this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this Did you?
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of the manifesto? Oh yeah! Juri said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first refusal.
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Jur-E wants the Blackcliff Forge to excavate the trip.
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is Juri's secret?
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put some. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should see where they lead.
Shenwei and Mingbua both turned... What about Juri? Is there another side to him too?
Rain. If only it could cleanse the
This is the Blackcliff Forge. Let's look around for clues.
What's this? A diary?
From the back, it looks like a ledger. But it seems they also use it as a... We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, don't you think?
You think they're suspicious?
Yes. Look, it says right there. At this rate, by the time the Cheongshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready to roll, that'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy any secret texts or steal... Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Jur-E recommends the Blackcliff Forge for the excavation, no red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decided to vet the staff individually, they'd have had more than enough time by then to come up. That's the advantage of planning this far in advance.
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If we hadn't found this out, someone else would have so who's really back?
That's a question for the newcomers. But let's start with...
Excuse us. We want to ask you about the newcomer.
You want them to teach you or something? I gotta say, these newcomers are in tip-top shape. Fast learners, too. They're picking up all the... My only complaint is that they're always going out drinking at night. But they never let us join them. I guess they just need some time to adjust. I'm sure we'll get to know each other over time.
They go out drinking. This area isn't exactly renowned for the nightlife.
You got that right. They tell me they go all the way back to... It rained after work today, so they actually stuck around at the site for a while. But as soon as the rain stopped, they... Hey, you're only young once, right? I say.
Interesting. Let's go talk somewhere. Looks like our hunch was on the Mora. These newcomers drinking in Liyue Harbor, huh? Some cover story. Oh wait, good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints. I doubt they'd give themselves away that easily, but let's...
They went that way! Hurry, we gotta catch up! These footprints are heading towards Liyue Harbor. Maybe we were wrong about that.
Just as I thought. They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way. The footprints stop here, but judging from the direction, I'm guessing their destination... Looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers rendezvous with whoever they're working for. But, look at these ashes. Someone was burning...
Could there be anything left? Maybe the wind could have...
The odds of that are very slim. It's practically...
Why don't we wait for them back at the Black Cliff Forge? They've gotta go back there...
We can't count on that. Clearly they were based here at one point, but it's mysterious. To me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere else.
Darn! Guess this...
Make no mistake, the purpose of our trip wasn't to find any solid evidence. I smelled something peculiar the moment I... Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they failed to consider is that paper and ink from different regions...
Really? Paimon can't smell anything. Do you smell anything?
There is a certain place with a freezing cold climate, where there's nothing but ice as far as the eye... Some wealthy people there put floral fragrance in their ink as a way of... When that fragrant ink is burned, this is the exact odor that it leaves behind. Exactly. The evidence will soon be blown away by the wind, so it's nothing we can arrest anyone with. But it's all I need. Now I know who we're dealing with. I can plan our next move.
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you again.
Who
Don't be alarmed. This is Upei. He's Wenyuan and Shanghua's colleague. I sent him to look into Zhiyi's regular contacts. Since Zhiyi likes fishing, Upei thought he might know some of the fishermen and sailors, so he took a boat out to sea to ask around. I left him a note at Yanshang Tea House telling him to look for me at Blackcliff Forge when he got back. If there'd been an ambush waiting for us there. So, what did you find out at sea?
Forgive my incompetence. I'm afraid I've come up and I asked all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Zhiyi before. Then the waves got so choppy I ended up falling overboard. Fortunately, when I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Blackcliff Forge and might need backup, so I went straight there as fast as I could.
Well, Uncle Tian said that Zhiyi once bought a recipe from one of the fishermen. Did you hear?
What? That's news to me. No, that's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. Lady Yelan, I'm
Interesting. Then I wonder how that even more
Fish soup? What fish soup?
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to get our hands on some well, any suggestions? Not a bad idea. Upei, what do you think?
Honestly, I've already tried following Zhiyi, but the guy's too cautious. Never meets with any—
Okay, so tailing's out.
No, we'll still need to tail him. But first, we need to do
Groundwork?
When you've worked in intelligence for a long time, you'll understand that no one can stay on high alert forever. Tomorrow morning, I'll announce his victory at Yuehai Pavilion. Take a guess, be sure to arrive on time. You won't?
Listen, as long as you stick to your own path, it doesn't matter what Mother Nature throws at you.
It looks like we're all here. Well then, time for me to announce the results of the— I won't drone on about the importance of the Tianshu role. Suffice to say that Uncle Tian entrusted me—
All of us here know the score. Don't beat around the bush, just get on with it.
Qianwei has many pioneering ideas, but some of his plans are lacking in detail, and he easily gets into— Mingbo is reliable, but not quite ambitious enough. And because of his personality, he's— In contrast, Zhiyi is evenly balanced across the board, and enjoys— After much consideration, I have decided to recommend Zhiyi to the Liyue Qixing.
What?
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Honestly, I'm a little surprised to hear. In my estimation, all three of us are worthy candidates for the Tianshu position. As your competitor, would either of you entertain the possibility of working with me in the future and taking on some of my workload?
I'll have to see.
I don't mind. As long as I can—
Okay, well, that's all from me. Zhiyi, you'll have some preparation to do. It won't be long before you're informed of your
I will live up to the Tianshu name. On this, I should go. I need to pack my things, and then I think a celebratory meal is in order. Would anyone like to join me?
Count me out. I'm not in the mood for a celebration.
Zhiyi seems pretty relaxed now. This would be a good time.
Hey, Traveler, tell me something. What exactly does that guy have that If you can't answer that, I'm not accepting this result.
I, also wouldn't—
Oh no, if we get stuck here, we won't be able to—
Follow him.
Yes, ma'am. Lady Yelan, Jury has gone towards Feiyun Slope.
Follow him, quickly.
So Jerry really sided with the...
Ладно, пешком.
But Uncle Tien thinks so highly of him. Why would he do this?
Difficult to say, but everything should become a lot clearer when we find him.
I'm sorry, Lady Yelan. We lost him. He's too good at this. We weren't able to keep following him without being
How the heck did he manage to shake Yip? I guess Jerry didn't let his guard down.
No, Upe says he's much more relaxed than usual. Maybe it's just how he's wired. Perceptive enough to
But...
Don't blame yourselves. Let's not forget he was trained by Uncle Tien himself. Evading detection is If I'd asked you to tail Uncle Tien, you'd have ended up at a dead end too. It's fine.
Shinyue kiosk. He only went in briefly. Upe and I were watching outside the whole time. A few moments later, a man dressed in a completely different outfit came out. Upe had a feeling that it was him, but we couldn't... I figured that if we spooked him, it would undo what we've accomplished today so far. Another option would have been to arrest... So I stopped Upe, and I stayed here to wait for you while that meathead went to ask around in Shinyue kiosk.
Good work. The fish didn't take the bait, but that's okay. As long as he's still swimming around, we'll find a way to catch him eventually. The key is figuring out what he's... Let's go to Shinyue kiosk.
Чё так долго грузится? Давай быстрее. Эй, блин. Я понял. Надолго.
Could you explain to me how that works?
Так, я
A guy like him comes in, changes his whole outfit right under your nose, and you don't even ask him?
Our customers are free to dress however they please. What grounds would I have to
Okay, fair enough, but didn't you think it was just a...
Well, maybe I did, but it still doesn't give me the right to stop him.
Enough. Let's tone this down a little. I'll make this quick. Just one question. What?
Oh, he didn't buy anything. He just picked up a bottle of liquor that he ordered ages ago.
A bottle of liquor?
Yes, a very strong kind. Fiery, with a rich flavor. This gentleman ordered it in person from us a long time ago.
Liquor? And what?
Where to?
Shigu Antiques. Hey, Miss Lin Long. Sorry to bother you. Zhi ordered a wanware set. We're friends of his. He's been telling us how impressed he is with the quality, considering how affordable it...
Sure. Which model are you looking for?
We don't really know a whole lot about wineware. Let's just go with Zhi's choice. Would you be able to show us the one he bought?
Zhi picked up his set not long ago. As a quality imitation of an antique wineware set, just so you're aware, we don't have many of this model left in stock. And now that Mr. Zhi has taken one...
Don't worry. Price shouldn't be an issue. I'm sure we can work something out. But I'm just a little hazy on one thing. Did Zhi...
For this set, the wine glasses are sold separately. Minimum purchase is 1 glass. Maximum is...
Okay. Thanks, Lin Long. Seems there's a little more to buying wineware than I first thought.
Well, don't take too long. We could sell out any day now.
This is turning into a real headache.
I'd just like to point out that we have the self-professed Grand Master of Fieldwork here to thank for being—
It's not like you did any better.
My specialty is information trading, okay? I don't have the physical agility. What's your
Yelan, so is the plan? Oh, if we can't figure out where Jerry went, there's not much we can do. But
If so, it's no ordinary.
what do you mean?
First of all, Jur-E isn't much of a drinker. On some level, he hates alcohol because of what it did to him. If he was just looking to celebrate by himself, he wouldn't spend his meager savings on an expensive bottle of alcohol. No. This is a victory feast. Whoever this person is clearly enjoys hard liquor and has a very high status. Now, where might we find Fatui who match that description?
Fatui officials. Should be either the Snej—
Have both locations surrounded.
Lady Yelan, is it time for us to make our move?
Get with the program, would you? This is a covert in which case, we don't need to change
Great idea! So we just need to find out who Jerry bought.
But Lady Yelan, if we get caught, this could become a major—
I'm well aware, but don't you see? Jur-E is gambling everything on this. Stick to your orders, and make sure we're covering all other bases too.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry, Lady Yelan. Jur-E may be a slippery character, but we'll keep a close watch on the—
I'll be waiting for you at the tea house. If I'm guessing correctly, Fatui officials are likely to take action at night. Perfect timing. Wenyuan just sent word that the Fatui ambassador, Yusupov, just left the embassy alone. He's heading in the
Chingshu Pool? That's the place.
It looks like that's where they've arranged to meet. Sensible choice. Chingshu Pool is always crawling with monsters. Most people wouldn't dream of going there. It's one—
Oh no, we gotta go get them.
Let's go. If my hunch is correct, we just might hit the This is Chingshu Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a worker's entrance somewhere around here. Follow me. There's been some work done on this place in the past, but it's a bit of a labyrinth inside. The workers left an emergency access route. If we can find it, still, be ready to fight at any moment. Any
Don't worry, we're all professionals here. By the way, Yelan, where are your
They have other things to take care of first. We couldn't afford to wait. As I expected, but this shouldn't be too much trouble.
Ambassador here to meet J.E. That must be the emergency access route, right? Come on, let's hurry.
This is the construction workers' emergency access route, but it's closed tight. Trying to break through would be risky. Let's see if we can find another way.
Emerge. Right here.
Amateur mistake.
Right now.
Gotcha.
Right here. Right now. Is that...
Так, секундочку, я отойду. Так, я надеюсь, вам текст не будет мешать. Хотя, наверное, вот так вот. Да. Просто я сейчас не могу разговаривать, так что надеюсь, вам не будет лучше текста. Надо тогда быстренько пройти. Так, пройдем быстренько.
Flowed into the groove, and now the statues have lit up. Okay, now we should be able to move the statues.
А, блин, стой. Оп, да блин. Оп. Оба. Это, наверное, туда, да? Так, подожди, да туда. Так вот. Локи так, да, надо? Оп. Оп. Все?
We should be nearly at the bottom now. Let's wrap this up.
Right here.
I can tell from the aroma that this is very fine liquor. Come on, bottoms up. After...
Oh, sorry.
You'll get there. If you want to stay friends with us, you have to drink with us.
I'll do my best.
You're more of a lightweight than I thought. Already struggling after one glass? I thought you were made of sterner stuff. You certainly kept it together when you were poisoning your teacher's soup. Come on, another round. Less talk.
Sure. You didn't leave me much of a choice, though, did you? Just the mention of... I'm more timid than you realize. Every time I poisoned him, I had to hide away at home for a few...
Look, I know it has not been easy for you, my friend. But, I have to say, you really are quite a genius at poison. I mean, the poison we brought from Snezhnaya is as strong as this wine, but you found a way to turn it into an imperceptible, slow-acting poison, and came up with the idea of delivering it... What was it you said? Oh, yeah. You said the soup's fishy flavor neutralizes the pungency...
It struck me one day when I was fishing. I'm lucky it did.
You have performed excellently. The Fatui will continue to provide the support you need to consolidate your position as Tian Shu. Aside from Qingshu Pool, we also have some other requests for you.
Don't worry. Whatever tasks you have for me,
Did you hear that? It was poison! That's why Uncle Tian hasn't been feeling well recently. What a nasty guy! Seize him!
Hold on. Did you bring a camera? If not, you can use mine. This is quite a scene. We have to capture it.
Excellent. We've seen no progress on the diplomatic front, and everyone has been. But soon, everything will be taken care of. And I can. I remember when I first saw you. I knew right away that you would make a good partner for us. Hey.
How could I forget? You said a lowly commoner like me could never be seen as a serious candidate for the Tian. The only way is for you to shine bright in the Tianshu's darkest moment.
Yes. Under normal circumstances, the gap between you and... Just look at your two competitors. Chen Wei had wealth. Ming Bo had reputation. But you... And that's why I decided to help you. You know, there's an old saying in the Fatui. Give a starving dog a bone, and it'll guard your home.
Yes. I cannot thank you enough for your generous...
You know, the best thing about you is that you do as you're heck, when you're not in the company of the Fatui, you'll be able to
Uncle Gao said that Zhi has low self-esteem. Seems he was right. He was worried that whatever advantage he might have now will diminish over time. So the Fatui... Do you have any more film in the camera? Then get ready to use it. Tonight's grand... How well this goes for us depends on...
Ooh, is there any more alcohol? Go on. Fill me up. I'm gonna go...
There's only a little left. Here, I'll fill your glass. If you like it, I can bring you some more.
Whoa, this is the good stuff. Huh? Zhi, you
You seem surprised, Mr. Yusupov. How could I not? I've sacrificed years of my life studying and reflecting to prepare myself for this position. You really think I'd put myself through all that just to become your little puppet?
You imbecile. It's the Fatui who got you to where you are. Do you understand? If I disappear with no explanation...
Do you see the haystack in the corner? Underneath it is a pile of explosives. And next door in the dark room are the 3 undercover agents. I'm gonna stay here till I see you slip into unconsciousness. Then I'm gonna set this on fire. Once the flames burn through the hay, they'll ignite the explosive.
What?
I took the liberty of leaving some evidence of your contact with the undercover agents at the Black Cliff Forge. It won't take long for people to join. The Fatui planted undercover agents in the Black Cliff Forge to steal their signature ruin-grade explosives. But things didn't quite go to plan. Mistakes were faced with the overwhelming evidence. The embassy won't investigate this any further. It explains why you acted alone, while exonerating the rest of the embassy of any liability. Of course, none of that will have anything to do with me. When all of this comes to my attention, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to cancel the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan.
Zhi, do you really think you're gonna get away with this? The Fatui has a record of After I die, they'll come looking.
A record? Oh, you must mean the one in the hands of your...
How do you...
Because when you contacted me, I also made contact with your associates. I have Theophan to thank for providing... He'll help me tie up all the loose ends. After he has been eyeing your position for a long...
That traitor!
Shh. Relax. It's over. Sweet dreams.
I did a little surveying on the way here and found that you'd left yourself 3 escape routes in case things went south. I have them all surrounded. If you're thinking of trying anything, save yourself the effort. The game. We were here the whole time and have pictures of everything. They came.
The game's up? Forgive me, I happened to discover a Fatui operation here, so I approached them on the pretext of joining forces and eventually brought them down from within.
This is how you want to play it, huh? Fine. You do you. All we need to do to convict you is establish that the poison in his system is the same as in Uncle... Nothing else you wanted to add?
One wrong move and it all comes crashing down. You followed him here, didn't you? I was so focused on... Let's talk about this, Yelan. I gave you my word that I would live up to the
Your point...
When I take office, I can guarantee that I will act in your best interests. And I don't deny that I used underhanded methods to get here. But given my low...
You still don't get it, do you? Even now. What do you think? Exactly. Jur-E, clever people can always come up with a good excuse. But while you might be... There's nothing wrong with wanting to win other people's respect, but when has Uncle Tian ever looked down on you? He was like a teacher and a father to you, but you chose to repay that by poisoning him. Whatever positive...
That's enough.
Of course. What makes this even crueler is that you managed to convince yourself there was no other way. Uncle Tian was always... Out of everyone in the world, he is the one who trusts you the most. So much...
That's enough!
Life is like fishing. It cannot be rushed. Whatever you do, impatience will accomplish nothing. I was just like you once, desperate to prove myself. Only later did I realize things do not always turn out the way you plan. But you have to keep calm to carry on. You're still young. Be patient, believe in yourself, and don't look outside yourself to prove your value. Where's Jur-E these days? It's been a long time since he last paid me a visit.
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, next time, if he doesn't bring a pot of piping hot fish soup, don't let him in.
Whatever you were thinking about, you'll have plenty of time to mull it over in prison. Oh, I almost forgot. If the Fatui find out what happened today, prison might not turn out to be the safest place for you. Trying to have friends on both sides, it has a way of turning everyone against you. But right now, I have an opportunity for you.
Huh?
Sorry, things are about to get extremely busy for me. I'll have someone remove the explosives. Then, there's...
Need our help with that?
No, it could be dangerous. You should leave this one to the professionals. Don't worry, as long as they're willing to cooperate, this'll get some rest. See you tomorrow.
Ничего нету. Ничего нету. Ничего нету. Ну, вроде ничего нет.
There is now no poison left in his system, but recovery from the damage already done.
Dr. Baiju, is my father...
You needn't worry too much. Keep taking the prescribed medicine every day. It's good we caught it in time. A few days later, and the toxin would have built up in the internal...
How did they successfully secure such a seldom-seen poison? Unfortunately for them, they...
Uncle Tien will be heading off now. Remember to get plenty of rest and avoid...
Don't worry, I will. Thank you very much. Ah, you're here too? Thank you for all you... Yes, the exhaustion seems to have gone.
Luckily, it looks like choosing the Tianshu's successor is suddenly not such a pressing... My work is mostly wrapped up, so I thought I'd take a minute. The assessment process comes to an end here, Uncle Tien. In my opinion, Zhi is not...
You have my gratitude. People can change their lord...
Is it just Paimon, or is Uncle Tien...
Don't underestimate Uncle Tien. He wouldn't have appointed me as a... Normally, the Yuehai Pavilion would be responsible for assessment.
Yes, to be quite honest, I wanted to trust him. When I first met Zhi, I wondered if he had approached me with a hidden... I concluded that he had no ulterior motives whatsoever. In the end, even he changed. I never had any plans to recommend him directly, but I always intended to give him the chance to compete on a level playing field. Family, I had no reputation to speak of when I first became Tianshu. I relied on Ganyu's assistance for all manner of things.
I have to admit, he's a smart guy. The intel suggests that the Fatui saw him as very low risk. But he chose that specific liquor from Xinyue Kiosk because the fiery flavor would mask the bitterness of the poison. He also installed a secret compartment in the wine pot he bought to hold the poison. As the amount of afterwards, we also found he had an antidote on him. Had the Fatui official grown suspicious, Zhi would have drunk the poisoned wine himself.
But that's still really dangerous.
Yes. Had he drunk the poisonous wine, he still would have faced serious health consequences despite taking the antidote.
How is Zhi now?
Well, I mean, he is sitting in a jail cell. Like Yanfei says, still, he's cooperating. He didn't turn down my offer to strike a deal. I'll make sure there are plenty of guards around.
A deal? Does this have to do with what you said to him when you arrested?
Yes, Zhi's not the one I'm interested in. If he was as far as this went, I'd have handed the case. But once the Fatui became involved, things got a whole lot more interesting.
Well, did you?
Almost. Unfortunately, it slipped off the...
Uncle Tien? Yelan? What are you talking about? Paimon?
Zhi colluded with the Fatui to try and secure the position of Tianshu. Or, to put it with Yusupov in our hands and a statement from Zhi, we could afford to continue with the diplomatic Also, we'd be able to gain control of Theophan, Yusupov's second to... Pawns like this can be major assets. They open up all sorts of new options. Why else did you think I would...
So, okay...
We got halfway. The first part went off without a hitch, and we passed all the... But when we tried to make contact with Theophan, he was gone.
The Fatui must be spying on us.
Otherwise, they.
I found out from other sources that the Harbinger Regrator got involved. The Fatui's main forces aren't concentrated here. Regrator was. It's a pity that Theophan got away. But knowing which Harbingers are still looking.
I have to ask, Yelan. Do you have any I remember you showed some interest a few days ago at Yenshang Tea House.
Oh, that. I prefer my current life. There's danger and there's excitement. Although it'd still be a behind-the-scenes role. As Tianshu, I wouldn't have the Alright, I'm done here. Time for me to go. I'm heading off again in a few.
Where are you off to this time?
As you might have guessed. It's for me to know, and but I'm sure if you keep going as you are, getting yourselves involved in other people's business all the time, maybe I'll see you the next time danger beckons. Until then, keep your wits about you. If you have any more questions, just ask Uncle Tian. After the...
Так. Это мы наконец-то закончили. Остался Кадзуха. Кодыха, да? Да, Кадзуха. И потом можно начать с ивентов. Ну, через 2-3 дня. Так что увидимся. До скорого.